Hello and welcome back to the Hairy Housewife YouTube channel, you beautiful lot. Now a few weeks ago you may remember that you see me clean the outside of this vehicle with some products from a company called Gloss. If you want to see that, I'll put the link in the description below or up there and you can go check it out once you've finished watching this video. Now during that video I promised I would do an interior clean on this Skoda. Now if you haven't seen that video, this Skoda hasn't been cleaned for at least 12 years, so it's really filthy on the inside. Now again, the last video of me cleaning the outside of this vehicle was filmed around about 3 weeks ago, and that is when I was showing people the interior of the car. Since then, this car has been driven for the last 3 weeks. We have racked up well over 1,000 miles on this car, and if I'm honest with you, the inside has got a little bit worse. So, before we do anything else, we're going to take everything from the inside of the vehicle out. Now, as you can see, as I open the boot of the vehicle, it's become a bit of storage for me for some products that I picked up earlier in the week from places like Clean and Shiny. And when I went down to see my good friend Jonny Shiell, go check out his YouTube channel. I'll pop a link in the description below. And also some products that I got from Supernatural Car Care that I cannot wait to get on the channel. And also a stack of towels that were on the back seat. Also, as I was going through the boot of this vehicle, I found this old scratch card. Was it a winner? If it was, this video would have ended here. Now once I'd finished in the boot, I'm going to move on to the rest of the vehicle. Now one bit of advice I'll give you, always wear gloves when you are cleaning the interior of a vehicle, especially when you're sticking your hands under the seats. You never know what sticky mess you might stick your fingers into. Now I am just using an old detailing bucket just to chuck any loose rubbish from the vehicle into, and I'll go through that a little bit later on and separate the stuff up that can go into the recycling bin. Now also what I found under the passenger seat in the front of this vehicle is this little contraption, and it took me a short while to work out what it was. You stick it on your sun visor and it saves you having to wear sunglasses. This one's going in the keep pile. Now also don't forget to run your hands around the pockets of the door cards. You never know what you might find. In this instance, I found some discarded chocolates from a celebration tin. Guess nobody likes a fudge, because I certainly don't. Now as this is my own vehicle, I'm going to have a bit of a nosy through the glove box and take out anything that I believe that doesn't belong. So now we have all of my belongings and that rubbish out, it's time to clean the interior of this vehicle. And as you can see, even though I've got majority of that rubbish out, there is still a good layer of dirt, grime and dust absolutely everywhere in this vehicle. Now when I used to do an interior clean, I used to be a little bit erratic. I used to go from the front to the back to the back to the front to the back to the front, front to the back to the back to the front, back to the front, did the roof lining, back to the front to the back to the front, did the boot, went back to the front and back to the middle, then back to the front, then did the boot again, then did the roof lining again, and it just wasn't very economical. Now last year I managed to see a video on the Epic Automotive Detailing channel, and he did an interior clean, and he basically said section the car up into 3 different sections: the boot, the middle, the front. And since then I have done that, and it has made such a dramatic difference on how long it's taken me to do the interior and how much easier it is to do on the interior. However, before I do any of that, usually I start on the roof lining. However, today I've got lucky. This roof lining is absolutely spotless, which means I haven't got to touch it with absolutely anything. So if you want to see how to clean an interior roof lining, then check out Epic Automotive Detailing's interior clean video, where he touches upon cleaning the interior roof lining. But for me, I'm about to start in the boot. Now first things first, I need to grab my vacuum to get up all that loose dirt and grime that is in the boot. And I'm not sure what that is. It looks like there may have been a mouse living in this car at some point. Now what I like to do before I get the vacuum out is drop those back seats down. It gives you access to get under the seats, and it also makes it a little bit easier later on to hoover the back of the seats. Now don't worry too much about getting 100% of the dirt up, because once we've cleaned the rest of the boot, some dirt and debris may fall down, so we will have to go back over it once more. Now don't forget to check underneath that boot lining where your spare wheel, in my case where there isn't a spare wheel, should be, and get any dirt and grime that may be underneath that up. Now as we'll be dropping the boot lining down before we clean the rest of the plastics in the boot, You'll want to get as much dirt as you possibly can up before popping that boot lining back down. And head on through the back doors, like I said, to clean the rear of those seats. Makes it a lot easier when they are folded down. Now grabbing a detailing brush and my vacuum, I'm going to go round the interior plastics. I'm just going to dust them down with my detailing brush, and the vacuum's there to catch as much dirt and dust as possible that may fall off of them. It saves it all from falling onto the carpet and giving you a lot more to vacuum up later on. Now if you don't have a detailing brush, or you don't want to rush out and buy a detailing brush, just head on down to your local DIY shop or your pound store and grab a cheap soft paintbrush. And it's time to move on to the chemicals we're using to clean the plastic trim, and they are products from Gloss Fuel. So as you've just seen, these are the two products we are using today: the Interior Quick Detailer and the Interior Spot Clean Shampoo. Now the Spot Clean Shampoo can be used on any surface from plastics to carpet. Just don't use it on your windows, use a glass cleaner. And then you've got the Interior Quick Detailer, specifically designed to go over your plastics and your trim inside of the vehicle. However, this one is designed for maybe a light bit of dust and a quick wipe over. This one is designed for dirt, grime, mud, anything that may be on the plastics or on your carpet. So we're going to start off with the shampoo spot cleaner today. And we're going to give a final wipe over with the Interior Quick Detailer. Now using the Interior Spot Cleaner, I'm going to spray it onto the plastics, and I'm going to use a detailing brush just to agitate it up and get in the grain of the plastics to remove any dirt and grime that may be lurking. Now this product did come with a foaming trigger head. However, for me, on the plastics, I found that a normal atomizing trigger spray gives you a more even coverage of the product. And you can see it does foam up just as well once agitated with a detailing brush. Now with this product, less is more, as you can see when I spray it on to the plastic trim on the back. You can see I'm spraying liberally, and as I agitate it with my detailing brush, yes, it foams up nicely. Yes, it does a good job. It is removing that dirt and grime, but you can see foam is a little bit excessive. So again, less is more. Now this product is classed as an oxy cleaner. Now if you don't know what an oxy cleaner is, go give it a cheeky little Google. This is what makes this product great on interior fabrics and carpet. Now as I started to wipe the plastics down, I could see it was leaving a nice, clean, original looking finish behind. There was no need for me to go round with the Interior Quick Detailer. I was happy how this interior spot cleaner was leaving the plastics. Now just giving it that final hoover to get up any dirt and debris, and then it's time to pop in the parcel shelf, and I'll give that a cheeky little hoover while I'm there. Now I don't know about you lot at home, but I like to go around the boot shuts and the door shuts when I'm doing the interior clean. I know some people like to do it on the exterior. Let me know how you like to do yours in the comments below. Now on to the middle section of the vehicle. I'm going to start by vacuuming the upholstery, and I'm going to start on the seats. Now one thing to note when you are vacuuming your rear seats is don't forget to lift them up and clean what dirt may be lurking underneath. As you can see, as I lift these seats up, there is a good layer of filth and dirt and loose mud and grime underneath these seats lurking that are just begging to be vacuumed up. Now also, when you are going around the vehicle with your vacuum cleaner, keep your eyes out for little bits that you might find that may come in handy, like this little washer I just found. Now that's going in my back pocket to only end up in my washing machine later on, where I forget to take it out. Then on to the carpets on the floor, and again remember, you don't need to get 100% of the dirt up, because we will be going back over these later on once we clean the interior plastics in this middle section. And then, just like before, grabbing my detailing brush and my vacuum, I'm going to go around the plastics and dust them all off before hitting them with any chemicals. Now one thing I would always recommend when you are working near glass, spray your product into your brush, your applicator, your microfiber towel, rather than spraying it onto the plastics, because some products can be an absolute nightmare to remove from glass. Now just working that product in with my detailing brush, again to remove any of that ingrained, embedded dirt, grime and mud that is all over these black plastic trims. Now as you can see, this interior spot cleaner isn't struggling to remove the dirt that is on these trims. This section was absolutely filthy, and it's removed that dirt and grime with absolute ease, and again left that nice original finish behind. Now the interior spot cleaner does have a really nice fresh scent to it. It is really easy to use, and again does wipe to leave a residue free clean finish. Now don't be afraid to take a 5-minute break every now and again. Squeezing yourself into those tight gaps inside your vehicle can put a little bit of strain on your body and make things start to ache after a while. So giving yourself a 5-minute break every now and again will help alleviate those aches and pains while cleaning the inside of your vehicle. Don't be afraid to just sit down for 5 minutes, have a break, have a brew, and watch the world go by. So now I've finished hoovering the vehicle out, there are a few stains on the seat that I am not happy with. Now most people probably wouldn't even notice those, but my eyes are directly drawn to them. So I'm going to give it a quick spritz with the interior spot cleaner. Don't want to oversaturate the seat, just a nice little spray onto the seat. I'm going to be using a drill brush. I'm just going to put some onto the end of the drill brush and I'm going to work it in. Now once I'm finished, I'm just going to grab myself a microfiber towel and rub off any excess product. And there we have it, that stain is now gone from that seat. Now when you are choosing a drill brush attachment, make sure to get yourself one that is specifically designed for interior upholstery. There are all different kinds out there. I'm using a white one today, which is soft, which is made for interior upholstery, soft tops, carpets. You can get some that are so much harsher than this and that will do damage to the fibres of the seat. Now if you did want to dry these seats off a little bit more than they are now, then you can go grab your extractor if you have one. However, I didn't use a lot of product, so the seats are not saturated with product. So just to wipe over with microfiber and an hour to let them dry should be sufficient. So now we've finished the back 2/3 of the car, we're going to jump into what is the dirtiest part of this vehicle, and that is the front, driver's side and passenger side. I don't believe this ever had any rear passengers. It hasn't since we've had it. However, the front is the filthiest and the most dirtiest part of this vehicle. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I am going to still work sort of from the top down. However, I'm not going to hoover first. Now this is because of the layer of dirt and dust that is on the top of the dashboard. If I hoover up first, there's going to be such a thick layer of dust and dirt and grime that's going to hit the floor. I'm going to have to hoover again and again and again. So what I'm going to do is start off with, I'm going to grab myself a microfiber towel. Now it wants to be dry, it doesn't want to be damp. If you start wiping the dashboard over with a damp microfiber towel when there is this much dust, it's going to clump up and start going really nasty and make a wet, brown, dusty, mushy mess. So grab yourself a dry one, you can wipe it down. Some of the dust will stick into the towel, some of it will fall onto the floor. Again, that is why I'm not hoovering until I've dusted off the dash. So now we've finished dusting that top surface and that thick layer of dust is now gone. We can now get on with hoovering the vehicle, from the carpets to the seats to the plastics. Now remember, if you are using your own household hoover and it's not like a shop vac and it can clog up quite easily, any big chunks of dirt and fluff like this, then feel free to remove them and chuck them in the bin before hoovering. Now just like before, I'm going round with my vacuum to get up any loose dirt, grime, dust, skin flakes, bits of food that is lingering around on the seats, the carpets and the plastics. And now don't be afraid to take up any plastic trim to vacuum underneath it, to remove any dirt and grime, and bits like this, an old broken pen that don't even need to be there. £2. That's my chocolate bar sorted for the night. Now when it comes to spraying any chemicals near your windows or windscreen, especially the dashboard, don't go spraying your chemicals all over the dash, because there's chances it might splash up on the windscreen and leave smeary marks and be quite dangerous when you are driving. So grab yourself your microfiber towel, grab your product and spray your product into the towel. Now this interior quick detailer has a really nice citrusy fragrance to it, and I've sprayed it onto my microfiber towel and I'm just spreading it out, and I'm going to flip the microfiber towel over and level it off and buff it out. It leaves a nice original looking finish, a bit like the interior spot cleaner. And then once again I'm going to grab my detailing brush just to loosen up the dust that is in those air vents and around the radio. Now a brush is ideal for this job because those bristles get in all those little nooks and crannies to help loosen up that dust and dirt. So now working my way through the car, I've come to the dials on the dashboard and they are absolutely filthy. Now if you can avoid touching these at all, then do, because they scratch really easy. If you do have to clean them, don't use anything like a detailing brush or a rough microfiber towel. You want to grab yourself a plush, softest microfiber towel you can find and a quality cleaner. Now I'm using the Supernatural glass cleaner. Although it's not strictly glass, I quite like using the Supernatural glass cleaner on plastic sort of dashboard dials. It just helps get in there, loosen that dirt and brings it off with absolute ease, and it's completely smear free. Now once I've finished with those dials, I'm going to clean the steering wheel. Now I'm going to pop a microfiber towel over those dials to stop any dirt, grime and product being unnecessarily flung onto those dials. Again, the less you touch those dials, the better. Now I'm using the interior spot cleaner once again with a scrubber pad. Now this steering wheel is a plastic finished steering wheel. If this was a leather steering wheel, I'd be using something a little bit more delicate. However, a scrubber pad is ideal for these plastic finished steering wheels. Not only do they work great on plastic steering wheels, they also work on plastic trim in your vehicle that need a good scrubbing. A bit like this handbrake. Now on to the pedals of your vehicle. Now if you are going to clean the pedals of your vehicle, don't be using a detailing brush that you're going to use on surfaces that your hands may touch. All sorts of grime and dirt from your feet end up on these pedals, so I have a dedicated scrubbing brush for just pedals alone, because you don't want to be taking that dirt from those pedals and spreading it around the steering wheel, around your gear knob, around the handbrake, and then eating food. You just don't want that. There we have it. That is the interior of this vehicle, fully cleaned, hoovered, and looking as close to new as I could possibly get it. And as you can see, it does look so much different. It's transformed the interior of this car. No longer does it smell, no longer is it dirty. It is just clean, fresh, and it's such a pleasure to be inside of. And there we have it. That has been the interior clean of this Skoda Fabia, and they have been the Gloss Fuel interior products. Now what do I think of them? Well, the interior spot cleaner, unless you are doing fabrics and carpets and seats, forget that foaming trigger head. Just use a normal spray and trigger. It worked so much better on the plastics. I didn't use hardly any product whatsoever, and it foams up nicely with a brush. Now, although I used it on the seats without that foaming trigger head, I can see the advantage of having a foaming trigger. However, for me, I don't think I'll ever use it with that foaming trigger head, but the product itself worked really well and had a nice fresh scent to it. Now would I use it again? Yeah, I probably would. It worked really well, like I said, and it felt really nice to use, foamed up really nicely and helped remove that dirt that was in this vehicle. Now what about the interior quick detailer? Well, for me, I only used it up the front on the dashboard and around the dials, and yeah, I would use it again. It was an okay product. I wasn't a fan of the scent, but again, that's personal preference. It worked, it did its job, and it did it okay. For me, I wouldn't really grab that if I wanted to clean the interior of my vehicle. I would grab that interior spot cleaner that did such a fantastic job at being an interior cleaner. It did a fantastic job at removing dirt and grime, and it left a really nice original looking finish behind. So for me, the quick detailer, although it worked and although it did its job, I wouldn't personally grab it myself. I would go for the interior spot cleaner, which I really do like. Now that's not to say the interior quick detailer doesn't have a place. Now maybe if the interior wasn't so dirty and there was a light bit of dust, or I just wanted to give it a wipe over, then I might reach for that interior quick detailer. But for an interior clean, for me, that interior spot cleaner has done it for me. So guys, I've been the Hairy Housewife. These have been the Gloss Fuel interior products. Go check them out. I'll pop the link in the description below, and I'll see you all again very soon.